You don't even need to pay me. I'm just like, dude, you fly me out, you give me some Jack Daniels and some dick, I will fucking do an episode. Let's go. You know?
All right, before we begin, let's thank our great sponsors, and we've got some good sponsors. Now, remember, if you would like to be a part of the process, I would love to have a conversation with you. Sponsoring the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, just reach out to me via jasonbailey.com. Let's start. Inspect All Pest Services. Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all they do. Inspect All can take care of your insulation, your pressure washing, your gutter maintenance, and other home services there in the metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. Also, thanks to Inspect All Pest Services for sponsoring all of our guests on the BPX. The Mad Dog, Manny Aurora with the Aurora Law Firm, theauroralawfirm.com. Best damn defense attorney in the land. He litigates all over the United States, based out of Georgia. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. Theauroralawfirm.com. And if you have a legal question for the Mad Dog when he visits the BS, please go to jasonbailey.com and get that to me now. It's Ridgeline Counseling with Dr. David Markwell. If you need help, get help. He's got 10 therapists who work with him there at Ridgeline Counseling, 3 different locations in the state of Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains, in East Cobb, Marietta right there near the square, and McKaysville outside of Blue Ridge. But if you're not in those areas and you still need help from the best in the business, that'd be Dr. David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. He does virtual sessions, which are extremely helpful, and you can set that appointment up at markwelltherapy.com. Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer, offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators. And each and every one of you, 2 peers, when you become a customer, you get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract, offering flexible financing, semi-annual and annual service contracts for existing installations and warranty repair. They have an A+ rating with the BBB, and you pay nothing until the job is complete, and you, the customer, are very, very happy. Call or request a free home assessment. You can go online, poweringgeorgia.com, or you can call 770-853-7571. Don't forget, use the discount code Bailey, and you get $500 off your entire installation. Servicing Georgia and Tennessee. MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Beautiful, affordable bathing solutions. MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower. They're a local family-owned and operated company committed to enhancing your bathroom experience in Metro Atlanta. They provide high-quality, safe, and affordable walk-in tubs and showers, focusing solely on installations that elevate your home's comfort and accessibility. They service all of Atlanta, Georgia. Like I said, family-owned and operated, no commission sales guys. There's no hassle when you deal with MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. No high-pressure tactics. Go to their website and see the work that they're doing. Gen Xers, having them parents finally move in, and you're going to help them out, and you got to redo all that. Don't do it yourself. Go with the best in the business. These are the pros. MVPWalk-ins.com. Or you can call 404-493-6888. Mention the BPX, get $2,000 off. Again, mention the Bailey Podcast Exchange, BPX, or any of the shows, and you will receive $2,000 off from MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa, administering ozone therapy or activated oxygen therapy non-invasively through what is called the Hocket sauna. Also offering red light therapy, halo therapy, pressotherapy, PEMF, as well as naturally in-house made ozone-infused products online, like that magnesium butter. AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com to book your appointment or to shop all of the products for Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, as well as the brand new Alive Ozone Therapy Spa app. If you are an Apple user, go into your app store and just search Alive Ozone Therapy Spa. If you're an Android user, search Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, order and book online. Again, if you are a business and you want the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, to help your brand, there's so much more than just advertising when it comes to this world. I'd like to have that conversation with you. Reach out to me, please, via jasonbailey.com, and let's chat. With that being said, let's begin.
Hey, good looking. It's the Bailey Show podcast. jasonbailey.com. It's a website.
Yeah, there it is. Episode 443 of the Bailey Show podcast. It is a guy show women love to listen to with a side of laughs. I lose some weight when I just did that. I jiggled. Side of laughs. Jiggle, jiggle.
Welcome to my world.
Woo! 3 different shows, 5 days a week, all on the BPX. That is one feed. All your details, jasonbailey.com. By the way, this is a Freebay episode. There are 3 different episodes each week of the Bailey Show podcast, also released on Tuesday and Thursday. I would hate for you to not have your content 5 days a week. So please subscribe to the Bailey Show podcast. And that is not hitting the notification or subscribe on Spotify as you listen. It is an actual site that you go to via jasonbailey.com, and it says subscribe, and then you pay your $4.99 a month. It's not a lot. It's like a couple pennies an episode, but it helps the cause and allows us to work to do this for a living. So that's all I want for Christmas, is for you to become a full-time subscriber, or give it to somebody. Sign somebody up. Get away pretty cheap, less than $60 a year. Also on the website, sign up for our newsletter. The merch store's there. They're always having deals, especially this time of year. There's merch for all the shows, the BS, Honey, I Raised the Kids, the Vinyl Road podcast. Did some merch the other day. Thank you to those that went to the merch shop. Questions for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora when he comes on, legal questions. And if you want to be a sponsor, then feel free to fill that out on jasonbailey.com. And if you are curious on like how well we're doing as a podcast, if you follow any, whether it's me personally at Mr. Jason Bailey, or you follow any of the show's social media, you will see the other day that I had posted a reel from Spotify. That's just from Spotify. It's called Spotify and Rap 2025. And it kind of gives you a rundown at the end of the year. Now you would think, well, you're just posting, because I know some of you naysayers and how you think, but you're like, you're just posting the good stuff. Well, there was no bad stuff to post. Would I still post the bad stuff? Probably not, to be completely honest with you. But there's no bad stuff to post. Like, I mean, even one of the percentages was like up 4%. I mean, that's not blowing the socks off anything, but it's an increase, right? Of, I think it was total followers or something. So everything that we've done, and some of those numbers are really big, with over, well over 1 million plays for this podcast, we're doing really, really well. So I would think if I were a business with a brand, this would be some place that I would like to sponsor, right? Get the word out. It's working, Ben. We were up like, I think the audience was up like 304% from last year or something like that. It was crazy. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Huge growth.
Yeah, it was huge. It was awesome. Growth. You're welcome. Big. Our erection is getting big. It's long. Look at it grow. It's me under a sheet and my BPX is going.
What's changed since last year, Bailey? I wonder.
It's all about Brad Stewart. Yes, you are correct. Yeah. That's
right. Damn it.
It's all about my wife. People love the Honey, I Raised the Kids podcast. They love my wife.
She's hilarious, dude.
She's the superstar. Her laugh is fun. People, it's funny because yes, there's a lot of the shared audiences between all 3 shows, but there is a specific audience for each show, and I talk to each audience, you have certain people in an audience that is very, aggressive as far as communicating on social media or DM, or some even email me and stuff like that. I will say the audience for the Honey, I Raised the Kids podcast is very entertaining. Like it's because you're talking family stuff and they're like, I so can relate. And Rachel's right. And I can't believe you said that. And I can't believe you did that. And no, it's not. That's not what you should do. Like it's a lot different than this show or the Vinyl.
I just can't believe she poisoned you.
Dude, who does that to their husband? Like literally gives them a colon cleanse without telling them. Who does that to their husband
and then loses her mind laughing about it? That's one of the funnier things I've ever heard.
And the kicker is she knows I don't talk bathroom humor. I don't say any of those words.
Right.
So she knows that if something were going on in that world with me, I'm not saying anything. So it takes a lot, and I got to get medical, right? I got to get, in that medical mind of going, hey, look, something's off, here. And I remember I texted her and I said, I go, yeah, my stomach hasn't been right last 4, it's just, I use words around those words. And she's like, oh, there's a reason for it. And she's, I've trained her so well over 15 years. She's like, I'll tell you when we record next.
She did it all for content.
She did it all for the show, man. She's doing it all for the show. I want to bring on somebody on this episode. I don't know her at all. Like literally we've developed a friendship, I guess, over social media, which I think is the first time I've ever done that with anybody. But she's really cool, and I'm thoroughly entertained by what she does. And I always say that, I'm a fan of people that produce content and that have something, that it factor about them. And I believe she's a radio girl gone podcasting, and she's cool as shit, dude. Her whole look, everything about her, she's just cool, like really, really cool. Here's the kicker to this, is that she lives in Sacramento. I didn't know her when I lived in Sacramento, and she had no idea. I don't think she listened to me on the radio when I was in Sacramento, but her, I think, boyfriend or friend, guy, somebody she knows, listens to the podcast. So she then started listening to the show and likes the show and reached out, or I reached out to her, something like that. And then we just kind of developed this friendship. But I'm like, if I can help promote her stuff, she can help promote my stuff. We can be friends, and she's cool, and I try to be cool. Then we've got something there. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to call her Steph because her social media is Stef Rock.
She rocks.
She rocks. Is that what I call you? Stef Rocks?
Yeah, Stef Rock Show. It started in 2004 as a joke, and now I've got to keep it. It's a thing.
Did you do radio in Sacramento? Because on your Instagram, it says what? LA to Austin to Sacramento, right?
I started in Stockton at University of the Pacific in 2004 on KPAC.
Okay. And then did you do radio in Sacramento?
Everywhere. So then I left after college to Playboy Radio in Los Angeles in 2008. I did an internship there for a year. That's where the networking really kind of took off. And then I just helped out at K-Rock. And then I went to Monterey to the Hippo. Then I went to Austin, Texas, 101X. But I wound up, my big morning show was at Rock 96.7 in Modesto with Bueller, Brent, and Steph before I had babies and started flipping houses. So radio. And then I started this podcast last year. And like I said, I met a guy that's super hot and I really like him. And I said, I run a podcast. And he goes, oh, my favorite podcast is the BS Show. And you know how that is. We're so busy with family, kids, real jobs. We don't listen to a lot of other podcasts. So I go, what's that one? So I check it out a couple of weeks ago, and I thought you were really funny, cool. He said you were also at 98 Rock for a little bit. I was in LA, I think, when you were in Sacramento, so I missed you there. But that's when I said, do you want to come on my show? I can come by your show, because I've been doing that a lot, and that's the best way to gain new listeners, because they already like podcasts.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice and frozen. Come back to us, Bailey.
Jason got so excited he just froze.
Yeah, see, he's
a lot of freezing. You did not miss much with my year in Sacramento at 98 Rock. It was, out of 30 plus years in this radio business, without a doubt, the worst year of my life professionally. Worst
Oh no,
year
I'm sorry.
of
Why?
my life. Well, first and foremost, let's start off with California. It sucks.
He never talks about this.
The state of California is just horrendous. The majority of the people in that state are bad people living in some weird fantasy world. Okay.
Yes.
I have never been a victim of profiling, like, as far as like, I never experienced it before. So I never knew what it was like. I mean, I'm a dude, I claim to be from the South, even though I was born from North, but lived in the South all my life, but I'm not going around waving a flag. But as soon as I got there, dude, I had these people. Like, there was this little lesbian girl. She's like a Zika baby. She's this little short girl. She's like 80 years old, but she looks 50 or something. And she had this giant head, and she was once straight. Now she's a lesbian. She wants to be something that she'll never be because she doesn't have the talent, but she thinks she is.
Are you talking about Mickey?
Absolutely. That's exactly who I'm talking about.
She hates me, and I have a whole story. We have a long history.
She's one of the worst human beings I've ever met.
She hates me because of my political stance, and we were friends 20 years ago, and I dated women, and my girlfriend rented a room out of her house. So we went out 20 years ago. We're friends. Everything that's fine. She all of a sudden listened to my podcast last year. She was a fan. She understands where I land on political things, and she all of a sudden hates me at Aftershock, ignores me, says she can't sit near me to interview. I've never had nothing but positive things about her, right? I love everyone. I'm like, you go, you. And to hate someone on their political stance, like, dude, I have friends that believe in everything and love everybody. And I just don't
What
care.
the hell just
so
happened?
she's a weirdo.
What do you mean?
Of all the people that you could have been talking about, she's like, "Oh, you mean this one?"
I knew she was.
I know everybody. I'm shocked me and Jason don't know each other. I saw we had a lot of mutual friends. Like I go way back with everybody back in the day. So I'm, maybe because I know California pretty good. I don't know out of state as well.
I think the same thing happened with her and people like Mikey and who I've like, I never met the dude. I've always been a fan. Like when they brought me in, I took over for his show and I listened to it before. Now the guy that hired me was my quote unquote friend from Atlanta. And I was just hornswoggled. And then he laid out this big plan of like, hey, we're moving on from this morning show, which was horrendous. And but what they had was something the market wasn't used to, and that was talk radio, which I did. That's where all my success was, in Atlanta and Orlando. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, that's a cool plan. We had a plan and all this stuff. I was like, cool, this is going to be great. And then when they moved me into mornings, they were looking for a new afternoon person. I actually went to them and told them to bring back Mikey and his show. And I created this big bit, this big concept of like, let's play good guy versus bad guy. Cause he didn't want him, like legit. The boss hated him because Mikey had trashed him and had every right.
Everybody hates Mikey, and Mikey and I used to be friends and now we're not cool. We just got into a big fight.
Oh, really? I don't know. I don't know the guy, but I like his style. I liked his show. I like his delivery. I like what he does, but I was trash. Like there's a dude, I guess, on his show. I don't know the players, but that ran into a guy. This is why you got to be careful who you talk to in the radio business. And he ran into somebody in the radio business and he was drinking. They were in Florida somewhere and he like trashed me. And the guy texts me and he's like,
Stroke. Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but he's like, do you know Florida?
Yeah.
He goes, do you know this guy? I was like, I have no idea who you're talking about. He's like, he just trashed you up and down. I was like, I don't care. It has nothing. It's like, it's not going to bother my paychecks. Nothing to do with me, So anyway,
I said, I make money flipping houses. So, but dude, Mikey fucked me over. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought he was cool, right? He started his podcast right before me. So I reached out to him. Can I get a couple pointers, cause it's different from radio, even though it's a similar boat. Different. It's a little different.
Yeah,
exactly. So I got advice from him. He sent a dick pic too, but that was good advice. Why not? And so then he set me up. He said, hey, I need a girl on my show. He and the last girl fell out. He goes, I need a girl on my show. Can you audition to come by my show? I said, of course. I'm kind of looking for a morning radio. I missed that. 2 guys and a girl. And the whole time I was never auditioning. His wife's best friend, Jen, was getting the part the entire time. And his wife hates me because she knows we used to DM and said he's not allowed to work with me. So he sets me up to get all my listeners over to his podcast to vote for me. I get the most comments on the episode on Spotify. I'm the most liked. And the whole time it's going to be this other girl. So dude, to me, that's fucked up. I like a fair game, right? Like, let me know what I'm getting into and what's happening. And I'll guest on anyone's show, but don't tell me I'm auditioning and I'm not. So I call him out on his bullshit, and I can't go into detail legally, but Aftershock got wild. It got real wild. I'll just say that.
So let me try to look at it in a different perspective. Okay. I'm not going to disagree with you. If that's what happened, pretty fucked up. But if you look at it from the content providers, the radio side of things, kind of have to tip your hat to them a little bit. That's the old radio bit of, the end result, but you need to create this allure kind of thing. And he did that, I guess, so.
No, I'm not. My hat's off to him. I have anger issues and I don't do well with bullshit. It's my bad, dude.
Well, it seems like that wild. I did radio in Tampa. Tampa's known for its battles between radio personalities and stuff like that. Even Orlando, every city's got it. And it's not so much anymore. It's an outdated practice in the business because the audience doesn't want to hear it, but it does create something, and I know that Sacramento, when 98 Rock in its heyday, like I didn't realize how bad that building was. Like I didn't
It's so much
realize
drama.
it's a lot of drama. I was promised that it wasn't, and I was promised all these things, and they had people in that building. I mean, you start from the very top. I mean, she's banging my boss, and they all have alcohol problems. There's a girl in sales that's an alcoholic, and she's punching people, and they're doing it in front of. I mean, it was a mess, and there was no one to talk to. Like, not that I'm an HR runner, but no, the HR woman, who was awesome, by the way, she was like mobile. She was like a mobile pet groomer. Like, she would come by every once. So it was just a weird situation. And so when you do something allegedly, like I allegedly did, then you have like no defense. Like I didn't want any part of that. I mean, it was so California, and I've told this story before. That building, for those that don't know, it's a very communal building where everybody's out in the open and you can overhear people's conversations. There's no privacy in this. And I don't give a shit. I went in, did my show, went out, glad-handed, talked to people. I at least tried to develop relationships, and then I would leave. And then one day I was leaving the show and I'm talking to two guys in the hallway that I was friendly with. They actually brought me into this conversation, which they had already been having about things that you can't do anymore just because of society. I mean, they're make believing that they're very conservative, I guess. I don't know what they were doing. So anyway, they brought me into this conversation and they took it to the radio standpoint of saying, hey, I bet you can't do. I was like, oh my God, dude. I was like, and I go, and truth be told, a lot of the stuff I did back in the day, I'm kind of embarrassed about it today. Like I wouldn't want to do it. And they're like, well, what? Give me an example. I was like, man, we used to do this bit every Friday called Muff Madden. And we'd bring listeners in to play Madden and have a couple strippers. And every time they'd score, an article of clothing would come off. And then whoever got all the clothes off the fastest, the first, they'd win. And, I broke it down and explained to them. It's like, we did a wet burqa contest, and we put a sheet over the stripper and she almost didn't look like a burqa. It ended up looking like she was a Klan member, but it was funny because it was kind of cold. So the balloons weren't breaking. So it was almost like we were stoning her. These were jokes, but it happened over 20 years ago. It's like walking down a hallway telling a story about a movie 20 years ago. Anyway,
I got porn stars naked at the Rainbow Bar for years, and I tried to revamp it and start it again. And they said we're not allowed to do Miss Rainbow and get girls naked on stage anymore. Like everyone's changed. They're lame now. Right. But you're not on air talking about this. You're off air, right?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Either way, I'm off air talking about this. So I get a message from the program director saying, hey, look, be careful what you say, blah, blah, blah. I literally had no idea what he was talking about. I said, I have no idea what you're talking about, but note it, not a problem. A couple of weeks after that, I get a calendar invite from the market manager saying that I have a meeting in her office with HR. I'm like, what's this about? I was like, I guess I'm getting fired. So I go in there and she goes, yeah, you're not in any trouble, but I know you're from the South and I know that, you're not used to this environment and the way that we work out here. But we had a complaint from somebody saying that you were openly talking about women in bikinis and a couple other things. And I literally had no idea what she was talking about.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter. It was a complaint. And that's when it goes back to the Zika baby girl. When it's a complaint, they have to address it. So I'm like, okay.
Zika baby girl.
Yeah, because she's got this huge head, right? She looks like one of those Zika babies. It looks like a little wobble.
That's hilarious.
And so,
I'm
finally it clicks, and I'm going, oh my God, I know exactly what. So she goes, now do you remember? So you do admit saying it? I said, no, I didn't say any of that. And she goes, so you're not, you are. What are you saying? I said, what I said was much worse. And she goes, what are you talking about? The HR lady laughed. I said, I'm not making a joke, but what I said was much worse than what you're saying that I said, which makes me really question the complaint because I'm telling you what I said was worse. You would think that they would remember exactly what I said that's worse than saying the things that you're saying to me right now. That's why this makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I said, and I go, and a side note, I sat in your meeting yesterday in the front row, and there was this woman that used the Lord's name in vain 6 times out loud. And while everybody's cussing, and you don't know who's walking through the hallway. Boy Scout troop. So I guess using the Lord's name in vain is okay on the West Coast in this building, but me telling a story from 25 years ago is not. Am I understanding this correctly? And she did not like, so it was just a bad.
You know what I don't understand? It's women. I have a lot of women haters because I'll call them out. It's a woman that was with a man, created a child with a man, and the man left her. So now she hates men. And then
she becomes a lesbian.
Loved me for a while. Exactly. No, but she changed because a man left her, right? You're not born like that. Anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But no, she had me on her lives to get people to listen to her because she has low numbers. So I was going on her lives to get people to listen to her, and she was loving me and we were doing great. Then she all of a sudden finds out who I voted for and drops me like a hotcake, unfollows me. I don't exist. When I'm like, wait, what happened to this? Hey, you're helping me gain followers. You're using me. And you say you like me, and all of a sudden you find out a small bit of information in my private life that has nothing to do with music and rock and roll. Let's all stay on track, right? We all like the same music. And she drops me, and I go, what a hater. That's the females in California that are super woke. They're just like hating everybody and hating life. And that's why it's hard. Like, I don't know. I loved Texas, right? Like I felt like I fit in a little bit more in Texas, but I share custody of kids in California. So I'm legally stuck here for a couple more years,
Gotcha.
I can't go. I can't.
So you're one of the rare conservatives in California.
Very, and I'm very active. I grew up in a very political family. We own a lot of law firms, and I run Yolo County. All of the political groups here. I go to the Capitol and whatnot too. But I keep it separate from my show. Direct, like I like to keep it. Let's all come together and talk about sex and music because those are my two favorite hobbies. So I like porn stars and rock stars, but I go on political podcasts. So it's funny. A lot of people don't know I guest on political podcasts, and that's a whole nother side of me that I love. That's like, I cover the tits, for a second. I do a little high button up.
But not on this show. You're letting those babies out on this show.
Honey, that's how I'm known.
I didn't even notice.
Stef Rock Show got the girls out. You got, there's my eyes are up here, honey. No, you got to have the girls out. That's how I'm known. That's how,
No, that's good. I love it. Yeah, but that was, like again, the political thing is I'm not going around waving a flag. I got my beliefs, but I would go on the air and say things like, with all the thefts and stuff in San Francisco is just obscene. And I would say, hey, look, a great way to stop this is just take a baseball bat to these people's knees. And then, you, I guess, upset people like Zika Baby and all these other ones. And they're going around going, oh, my God, they need help. And, oh, I can't believe he said, like, mind your own fucking business. Like, what do I like? You do you, and you try to work on, doing what I've done very well and successfully for a long time. And you have not, just do you. Stop, get out of my business.
I think she's lasted so long because of a hiring issue in California. This is just my personal take. I think that everyone's worried about firing someone that's openly gay or trans nowadays, that it comes back that you're racist or something, which, right? I was gay. That's what I love when people call me racist. I dated a black female for 2 years. So come at me, honey. I'm not racist. Like, I just have my views.
The guy that hired me, again, my alleged friend at the time, he told me, he's like, he'd always wanted to fire her because, she's got zero talent, right? So she can't
even interview. Have you listened to one of her interviews? It's horrific.
He says, he goes, he wanted to fire her. He wanted to fire everybody. He wanted to fire her. He wanted to fire the Top 40 morning show. And I was like, why? I go, what
is this a social media chick?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It was all about her, and she'd always do this glamour shot, like finger up in the face thing. So he wanted to fire her, but
sad.
there were people like the black guy and the wannabe black guy from the sports show. He was like, oh man, we're gonna get all those. He said, we're gonna get all the blacks over because we're gonna take their sports knowledge and make it culture. Like he started getting, it was all like this weird white guy thing that he thought was in his head going to benefit this like over liberal California audience. I'm like, why don't you just produce good content? Why don't you just hire people that aren't pains in the asses, that know how to do their job, instead of trying to have this strategy of how you think people think? I go, first off, you're in Sacramento. You're in the capital. Like, not everybody is as wokey as you think in Sacramento. There's a lot of red in Sacramento. Why don't you just not play the game at all and just worry about making people laugh and entertain them and get back to the community and doing good radio? and he just didn't want to buy into it. He had this whole strategy plan and all this other stuff. So anyway,
You know who I really like? Paul Marshall, that's doing the mornings at 98 now, and he was in Arizona before. I've known him for several years through a buddy in LA that does a AC/DC cover band. But Paul Marshall's really good at being middle of the road, kind of seeing both sides of everything, and not playing the game, if that makes sense.
They brought
BS game.
Yeah, so they brought him in after me, but the guy wanted to bring him in to do afternoons originally. They want so like before they hired the Abe, and Abe's a good dude. He so I guess there was like some back and forth, and again, let's just call the guy that I'm talking about my alleged friend. Let's just call him Dick Face. So Dick Face, he has like an attention span of a brick. So if it gets too difficult, he wants to dip out, and he just wants everything to happen his way. He's like neurotic like that. And he's a sociopath. So with Abe, I guess his agent or lawyer was like, no, we got to do this. We got to do this. And so even as bad as Dick Face wanted him, upper management wanted them to hire this girl from Philadelphia, but she didn't want to move out there, and she would have been syndicated. And Dick Face had a problem with that. So then he wanted to bring in this Paul guy, and I mean, he's telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, dude, do whatever, and I'm telling him to bring back. I was like, if you want a real pop and you want people to talk about this radio station and you want the short kiss in order for, I was like, bring back Mikey. I go, I was like, let me create a bit and bring back this guy, whether we get along or not, we'll figure that out later. But let me create this bit. And I've got this whole bit in my head, and all the ideas that I pitched to them, they never took. I had an idea to launch both my time in afternoon and mornings. They didn't take it, but the radio station in San Francisco took it. Because it went up the ladder and they took it. It was just such a bad word. And so
I think Mikey's really talented. They don't like the way he thinks. That's what's sad. They're not looking at his talent standpoint, and they're looking at his personal views. And that's why at Odyssey in Sacramento, they don't like him. And I've sat in there. I've hung out there a lot,
Yeah. Well, the guy that's in charge now is a friend of mine. Their market manager now. I worked with him years ago in Orlando when he was a sales guy. He's a good dude. Okay, I
haven't met him.
Oh my God. He is one of the best people you could, just in general, as far as a person goes, just a great human being. So I'm hoping they get all their pieces right. I was really close with one of the engineers, Seth and Jonathan, or both of them. Actually, they were good people. The marketing girl was a complete idiot. You got the fake black gangster guy. He's an idiot. You got the Zika baby. She's an idiot. So you had a lot of these idiots that were mixed in. And so it was just not a place for me, because it was a building filled for the most part, like 95% of non-radio people. And I'm a radio person. So
yeah,
they didn't want that. They didn't want to do ideas. They didn't want to do content. They didn't want to be compelling and thought evoking. They were just very superficial when it came to producing content. So wasn't my thing. Didn't work out. Things are working out for me now.
Boring. How fun is this podcast though? Podcasting has been really fun. I do whatever the fuck I want. I interview whoever I want. I can talk about sex and drugs. It's been really liberating. Yeah.
And you're like pretty dug into the, not only rock world, but the metal world too, right?
Yeah. I just, how you get into a category, because it's funny, people go, oh, you're a hardcore metal chick. Well, I loved it in my teens and 20s, right? When I was really young. Nowadays, I don't even listen to metal. I'm like soft rock, old as fuck, Nora Jones, John Mayer, but I'm in the metal world. And so that's why people call me their managers or PR people to interview a metal band. And I love interviewing all bands and learning about everybody, but that's like the niche I've gotten kind of, but I'll do everyone from Weird Al to System of a Down to, when I get the call, I'm there. I'm going for it. If it's a band I like. And nowadays, porn stars, I really love porn stars and the sex industry. That's one of my favorite things to interview.
Yeah. I've got some porn star stories. Do you know Lainey with Penthouse?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's got a story in her book about me from back in the day.
Oh.
And yeah, there's
okay.
She didn't name me by name.
I'm a groupie.
Mm-hmm.
I banged a couple rock stars.
What rock stars have you slept with?
Porn.
What rock stars have you slept
with? So many. I've posted the list. Joey Fatone of NSYNC, like I said, Phil Varone, recently McGlocky, he's the hot TikToker that's young, that's flying me out. Todd Phillips, Adam McKay, a lot of people, Black Veil Brides, Jake Pitts. If you look at my interviews, I might have been banging them if they're too big to come by a small channel. We'll just say that, you know?
How does that work? How does one bang you if you're in a band?
See, so you got a male and a female.
So, yes. I got titties.
Alcohol.
I'm a hard 6 and I like to laugh.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
maybe
easy.
so
A hard 6.
I'm a hard 6 and I'm funny.
If I just say to
A hard
you,
6 too.
if I'm in a band, I go, hey, look, Steph. If I go, hey,
Yeah.
look, Steph, we're going to let's go have sex. I mean, is it just that
Yeah.
simple?
Yeah, so I've something I've been honest and vocal about. I've been a sex addict, my whole life. That's something I've been in and out of programs with too. So it's definitely, I'm in a good spot now, right? I got 2 divorces though because of it, but the sex addiction has been, I've been out on the prowl. I also was a stripper. I stripped in Texas and Las Vegas and Hollywood. So some rock stars came into the strip club and saw me, and then they knew I was going to backup dance and strip on stage with them. So that my name got thrown around after a little bit, like invite Steph. She's going to be fun. She's going to get naked and be silly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was down.
What
I'm wondering if this is where I know her name from, Bailey.
what from
Probably.
the groupie world?
Well,
yeah.
back in my musician days, that maybe that's a name that was tossed around somehow.
See, I wasn't gonna say. I was waiting to see if you were gonna try to slide that in to see if you.
Oh, that I'm a musician?
Yeah.
I'm a musician. How you doing?
See if you're gonna slide that in.
But now
I used to be
What's
cool.
funny? I love accountants. Like my boyfriend that listens to your show is an accountant. I'm talking about my 20s, you guys, like years ago. I was really wild and crazy. I'm 40 with kids and 4 houses. You know what I mean? I'm in bed with green tea at 8 p.m. I don't mind talking about my wild life. I'm really proud of it. I think it's so fun and awesome that I got out alive. A lot of my friends are dead. But I'm such in a different headspace, than like 20 years ago.
So are you no longer sleeping with rock stars?
I got flown out by one that I can't talk about and one that I can, McGlocky, that's young. And Mickey actually gave me shit for that and said he's way too young. When it's like, honey, he's 27. He's a grown man. He can make his own decision. But I guess she knows him and doesn't think it's okay with our age gap. But so the podcast, I knew it was going to be naughty, right? Like I knew, because I was gone for 6 years, guys. I deleted all of my social media. I dropped off, had kids, was like, I'm a suburban mom. I don't want my shit coming out, right? Did a 180 last year. Enough people begged me to talk about my bullshit that I started a podcast last year. And I knew all the rockers were going to be in the DMs, like, whoa, you're alive. Let's hang out. So there's been some naughtiness last year.
Who's McGlocky?
A midlife crisis.
Who's
You
McGlocky?
Google him. It's the kids. The kids are obsessed. So he's the #1 TikTok live artist. He's the new young TikTok guy. He's going to take over a huge band as their lead singer. They're going to announce it in a couple months. But he's like the hit young TikTok artist that does parodies and mashups. And he was flying me out all last year, and that was fun. You feel like you're young again. You're like, ooh, young Dick. What's this like? Okay.
Is he good in bed?
Exciting. Yeah, very good. Very
Really?
good. Very romantic. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I like nerdy, golden retriever.
Did he slide into your DMs or did you slide into his?
So I asked him to come by the podcast, and I'm going to be real. This isn't something that happens, right? Like I'd like to keep it professional. When I ask an artist to come by the podcast, it's strictly like, I want you by the show. Well, he messaged me back and said, hey, can I fly you out to San Diego? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm single, And then thought it was going to be a one-time thing, and it turned into like 4 times. And now I'm friends with his mom and his brother, and totally, I stay friends with a lot
That's not
of
who I
people
thought you were
even hook up
talking
with.
about.
Who did you think she was talking about?
No?
Somebody, no. No, that I would not have called this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like nerdy.
He-
I like smart.
see
nerdy.
that
Like
about
Weird
you.
Al's my first
Yeah.
crush.
Mm.
Me and Weird Al have a history. I backup danced for Weird Al, and I was on the Donnie and Marie Osmond show as his #1 fan. Like that's my type. Is super. I want to take advantage and be the aggressor, and be the weirdo on you.
Well, I can see how that would work with old McGlocky.
Yeah, I don't like bad boys. I'm the bad girl, right? There can't be 2 assholes in a relationship. Only one.
So you said that you are dating this guy, this accountant now that you like. Is he okay with you flying out and banging the TikTok kid?
No, I mean, this has been 2 weeks that I've committed. So, I mean, this is old news. And I was dating a guy that's also a huge podcaster last year that I can't talk about because I'll get in trouble, but I can tell you off air. And that was like the most highlight exciting. He's my idol for years.
Mhm.
And he's in the Rogan universe, I can say that. But it was just such a wild same thing. I asked him to come by my podcast. And then I'm into pegging. If you guys didn't know that, that's a big I love pegging men's shirts a lot on my interviews. And I asked to peg him and
Hmm.
he had never been pegged by a woman and it was like the sexiest, hottest 2025 move.
Bailey, do you not know what pegging is? I see by your face you're confused.
What is that?
So I wear a
Steph, please
strap
tell him.
on. Yeah, I wear a strap on and I peg. I pretend I have a dick and I want my man on all fours in front of me.
Right up in the old shenanigans.
Yeah.
And
so
guys-
With a
there you go.
strap on.
And guys on your podcast agree to do that?
Yes. I mean,
Oh.
a lot of them are bi or bi curious. It's not for everybody.
I would have been like, bye
Kind of
bye.
a given.
What if she goes down on you though
Bye, bye,
and gets
bye.
it really wet first? Yeah.
No,
Like
no,
there's foreplay. No?
no, bye, 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 bye.
No?
No,
Okay.
no,
Well,
no,
we would
no.
never work, unfortunately. That would never work for me, man. Bummer.
Look, back in my day, I did the rock radio and the girls and all that stuff. I was there, but and I'm not a good looking, I'm not you, you know what I mean? So, I have other things that content wise, I was never really comfortable in that world, to be honest with you. Like I was talking about that story before when I was telling them about the wet Burke and stuff. I mean, I did all the crazy stuff. I just never, I wanted to talk about meat and potatoes. I wanted to tell jokes and I wanted to be thought evoking and have an observation on something between the lines that nobody would see. That's kind of like how my mind ticks, very cerebral. The sex stuff was too easy, and again, it's different from a guy standpoint, especially a guy on the radio, because you're always compared to Howard. You're always compared to O&A.
Yeah.
It was a no-win situation, but you had to do it because that's what rock radio was. Now, from a woman's perspective, comes across totally different. If I were you, look like you, had your talent and what you have a lot of, I would do and say the same thing. You've got the stories. That's a draw in this world, this podcast world. Those are likes, shares, and follows.
Well, and I'll be real, I didn't talk about
That
it
was
in
frozen
radio
stuff.
days. I was afraid that I would lose radio jobs with them finding out that I dated people in the music industry, right? I wanted to sound very professional and I was very secretive. And also I got in trouble at KMRQ in Modesto for talking about sex and being too vulgar. So I had to rail back who I really am. And trust me, I love current events, right? I'm a daily news person, so I'm fine with that. But my favorite thing is sex. That's my favorite topic. So I love on my podcast, I'm now for the first time being like, this is who I've had sex with. Here's the list. I'm having some exes by that I've had sex with. We're talking about it. It's just really fun and free to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
It makes sense because current events and pegging actually sound very similar to me.
Right? No, a lot of congressmen that are wealthy like to be pegged. They're very in charge. You know what I mean? They're very in control and dominant. So they actually like to be owned by a woman in the bedroom.
They like a dildo in their butthole?
I mean, it's connected to me, baby. It's passionate too. This isn't, no, I'm not banging. Like I'm making love. I'm lighting candles. I'm putting
She's Barry
on,
White in this situation.
I'm very like, I will make love and get it wet before. I'm not just putting it in, but then I own you. Then you're mine afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how you change the oil in the car. You're still changing the oil. In the
It is so empowering though to be a woman. And so I love outside the bedroom. I know men are smarter and more in charge. And I want a man to lead me and lead the country. And I love being my submissive woman with my man. But then I like to 180 in the bedroom. And now I'm the dominant and I'm in charge. So I like that role play reverse.
See, I could never do what you do. I'm horrible in bed. I am not well endowed, so I lack a lot of these things. I'm not your typical guy that goes around and is like, dude, I'm the best. My thing is this big. I'm embarrassed by it. God was like, I was an accident, like they were like, oh yeah, just use the mold on that guy over there, that Jason Bailey. We'll throw it away afterwards. It's too small. That's me, right?
That's hot. Hey, micro penises, I've came with those. Tiny ones can do the trick too. We're all clitoral. If you just rock enough, you know what I mean? You don't, it's not the size. For me, I'm not a size queen.
Oh, well, then we get into the problem of cardio. I mean, I got to get a good 10 minutes of
Yeah.
stretching in between. And
You just lay there.
And then time wise, it's like, you know what? And here's my theory on
Do
that.
you not know Matlock is coming on?
Here's my theory on that is that women always give guys a hard time when they don't last a long time in bed. But
Oh, I hate that.
They should be doing the opposite and saying, wow, I'm that good and that you're that attracted to me. You can't last that long. Thank you for lasting 30 seconds.
That's such a turn on. I will not get into a relationship with a guy that can only go 20, 30 minutes every time. You know what I mean? Like marathon sex. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Sometimes you just want to get it out in 5 minutes. I love a man that can come fast because you can still go down on me or take care of me other ways. But to me, it's like I satisfied my man. He's taken care of. And now we can watch the news and go to bed. But I don't like a guy that's just, oh my God, 8 positions, move it around. Honey, I'm old. My hip could pop out. Like, just missionary eye contact, do the trick for 5 minutes and let's go to bed and snuggle, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I don't want to just roll over, which I did, what Ben was trying to bring up before. I think he was looking for an assist from me, but Ben is single. Ben was once part of
no, I was not looking for an assist, but feel free.
Very popular band, Fall to June. He's still a musician. As he's gotten older, he still plays and all that stuff. He travels often,
looks like a nerd,
like to Sacramento. He's a big guy. I'm assuming it's probably not long, but pretty girthy. Usually big guys like that are pretty good in bed. So if he makes his way to Sacramento, he might hit you up. It might get weird. He's got really nothing else to offer you. He might make you laugh a couple times. He might ask you to
sing a ditty to her.
He might ask you to pick up the check too. But other than that, he's a good dude. And I think he's probably I would probably put him at a 7.5 in bed. He looks like a 7.5.
Well, send your dick. I love my DMs are full of dick pics. I always say on my podcast, send me your dick. Like I'll look at it, right? I'll tell you about it. I'll rate it. But I know I'm loaded, so I don't care if you're broke.
Just for social media purposes, she's talking about Ben, not me. If I clip this part out.
You're taken. You're taken. You have a woman. I don't need to see yours. But if you're single, send me your dick. Why not?
I'm only going to send a dick pic if I draw a face on the tip.
That's romantic.
Put googly eyes on it.
Very romantic.
Yeah.
So what's your, do you monetize your podcast?
I do, but it's so new. I just started it last year that I joked. Everyone goes, wow, are you rolling in the bank? I made $14 last month to brag to you guys.
Yeah.
So watch out. And I got hot sauce. I got free hot sauce and free band t-shirts and albums. I mean, it's great, but it's my hobby. You know what I mean? I love it. It's bringing me so much happiness doing this and talking to people. And I'm so nuts. The older I get, my friends go, I got to hear your bullshit stuff. Nobody has this bullshit like you. So it's fun to talk about it.
Yeah. It's, I've been doing this now 5 years, even when that was one of the issues when I was in Sacramento, my contract, they paid me a really good amount of money to come out there. And they signed me to a 5-year deal. And I was gone in a year. So it just goes to show you kind of, what, not my bad, it was your bad, but, part of that deal was because I was successful in the podcast world. As far as my network goes and the business structure of it, there was a lot of things that I had in my deal. My agent put in my deal, which then they reneged on later, which no one was able to account for. So I'm positive I got scammed out of a lot of money. But either way, they knew nothing, and I believe still know nothing about digital in that market, in that company, in that market. And I was trying to help them, and they wanted nothing to do with it. So you start this podcast stuff as a passion project, but when you turn it into a business, like I have done, you have to find ways to monetize it. And if you're not part of the elite, like the Rogans and the Theo Vaughns and those, you can still be successful as long as you accept your bubble. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, look, stay in your lane, talk to your audience. Yeah. And I tell that to my sponsors. I'm like, no, I don't have Rogan numbers. It's just like in radio. Are you like Howard? No, I'm not like Howard. I'm like me. These are the people that I talk to. If I can tell you for this amount of money, you could be up on stage 5 days a week and talk to this many people, would you do it? It's the same concept with this direct content to ear. So I have a whole business plan, and we've been very successful, over the years, even when I took a step back when I was in Sacramento, and I had to, because that was part of the contract, which I should have never agreed to, but I was doing it to be nice and play ball. And then I had to kind of rebuild it this past year, which we've done, if you've seen my Spotify Unwrapped, but you can make money. You will do well. You will do well. I know that you will do probably better than I.
Thank you. And your show's great and really fun. I love the way you make your clips and edit. It's really neat. And like I said, I did the radio contract days and it was fun. My focus are my kids. I have 2 young kids, so that's my main focus. I come from a little bit of money, so I'm not going to be, money doesn't really concern me. But what I started this for is to get laid, and it's totally working. I'm getting DMs constantly by rock stars flown out. I get in free to every single show and festival again. I'm back on Vans Warped Tour and Aftershock interviewing backstage. So it's invaluable to me to be offered to be back in the scene and do things I love, or I get paid to host when a band comes in. Head PE just said, Steph, can we pay you to just introduce us and do crowd play and make fun of people? I'm like, heck yeah. So the amount of fun, it's almost like my resume, this podcast, to like play. And it's just been like a midlife crisis of fun from it. So you don't even need to pay me. I'm just like, dude, you fly me out, you give me some Jack Daniels and some dick, I will fucking do an episode. Let's go.
No truer words could ever be spoken by someone.
How do we feel about Crown?
I'm okay. I'm okay with it, but JD's my favorite.
Me
it's
too.
My favorite.
They don't make a BlackBerry JD.
So that's good. I'm glad you had that attitude. That's a good attitude to have in the podcast world. Don't expect much and appreciate the little wins and take what you can get. That's pretty good. It was funny because we were talking back and forth about radio, and you have no desire to go back to radio, do you?
I don't, because it's so conforming, right? Like I had to conform in California. I had to be really careful. Even Modesto's a cow town. We still had to be careful about getting too far right. So we all needed to kind of be moderate, middle of the ground. I don't like that I had to be someone I wasn't. And now with this podcast, I'm just like, hey, I'm a piece of shit. I just want to fuck. Tell me about how you fuck. And my listeners, they know that. They're like, I'm kind of the villain, right? Like people know that I'm going to take sides with Jeffrey Epstein and P. Diddy probably, man. I think Scott Peterson should be freed. There's all these views that I have that are nuts and wild. And if you're on my show, you're kind of on this, you like that I'm a little bit of an asshole and you're into it. So I play into it. You know what I mean? Once you get typecasted, I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm here.
I've kind
of. What do you know about that, Bailey?
I've kind of cornered the market on the asshole stuff. I promise you that. All right, that one's already taken. The guy I'm dating's
like, you would love him. He's very much like you. And I was like, okay, then I've got to talk to him. And like I said, I want to have you by my show, and you got to come by so I can harass you.
Yeah, maybe we should join forces. That's that's the other thing in the podcast world is I think radio personalities have an advantage in a lot of ways in the podcast world, but also there's a lot of disadvantages. If you allow your ego to get in the way and think that you've already run the room because you've done radio for so long, you've already lost the game. Because in the podcast world, and I had to train myself to do this, is to not be so radio, is that the podcast listener does not want to hear radio. They don't want to hear, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear the oohs and the ahs and the fuck this and the go blow me this. And they want to hear the everyday locker room bullshit that they're not going to hear on the radio. So how do you join forces in those two worlds? You have to kind of learn your way to do it. But the good thing about radio personalities, the art of the conversation and storytelling, is that a lot of, civilians, let's call them, don't know how to do. And their storytelling is fine, but there's a lot of holes in the way that they tell stories. So that's a good thing when it comes to podcasting and doing these types of these deals. The point of me saying that is there's so many ex-radio people. Podcasters should join forces. I mean, like what we're doing right now, Steph, is we either be on each other's shows, start a show, do a show together. All these different things is bring in audiences together, especially if you've done radio in those markets. that you can, like Atlanta's my biggest market as far as my podcast audience goes, with Orlando being second, because I had the most success, believe it or not, in Atlanta versus the 17 years that I spent in Orlando. But that was kind of pre-digital era. Atlanta, my people in Atlanta, I love them through and through. And for the most part, about 90-ish% are loyal to the core.
Yeah.
That's what you do. I hope they all go and they find you. And you're on just Spotify and YouTube, or where can people even get your stuff?
Yeah, like I said, I deleted everything. So last year I just made a Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. So I'm just kind of focusing on, how it can be time consuming to get on a lot. So those three I'm focusing on. I update my story, I answer all my DMs, but I agree with you too. And I love cross promotion, like all of us going on each other's shows and learning from each other. I don't understand when there's some podcasters that go, nope, this is my group, my core group, no one else can come by. And I go, that's not fun. I want to meet new people and hear their story and learn about them. And I've had a lot of people from Odyssey on my show, like Paul Marshall and Abe Cannon and Robert Hawk and Gavin. They've all come by, and it's been cool to just learn about their story. And Nikki Black, I'm really close with at 107.7 The Bone. She was kind of my mentor growing up and who I looked up to. So I love having radio people by, because even though it is the same genre, it's still different on a podcast, and I'm like, you can cuss, you can talk about that you're pissed off, whatever you want. You're not worried about getting fired. And right now I'm not worried about getting majorly monetized and whatnot. It'd be cool one day, trust me. Oh my God, am I banging the right people? I am, for sure. But like, the hard part is, so my core group's in LA. That's where I spent the big time. That's where I hosted the Rainbow Bar and Grill for years. So that's kind of my niche or my audience. But I have to move back down to LA. That's been what's brought to my attention 2 months ago. And do I want to rip my kids away from my ex-husband? I don't. So the hard part is, I know I've got these opportunities in LA right now, but my life and my kids' lives are in Sacramento. So I kind of want to virtually play and have fun as much as I can, because I can't uproot the babies. I'm not saying it might not happen, but right now it's not something I want to do.
Right. Got it. So that's nice that you say that about your kid's father, that you don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah. No, he's amazing. He's amazing. I just wanted to fuck a bunch of people, so I filed divorce. It's not like he's a bad guy.
That's very sweet of you to do. I mean, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when you had that conversation with him.
Fly on the wall with a camera.
But it didn't go so bad too, because if a chick has money, that's what I've learned, divorce isn't that messy. It was my house.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, you got to leave my house. I'll give you 6 months. I'm not kicking you out on the street. But when the chick pays for most of the shit, the divorce is smooth. When the divorce goes south, it's because a broke bitch is trying to take alimony.
Yeah. Yeah. I went through it. I always say, actually, it's funny. The fake black guy, that's when we had our big falling out. is because I'd made a joke to his partner, who I liked a lot. I think he's very talented. And he had just gotten married. And I'd said to him, I go, hey, look, you want some advice? I've been married twice. And he goes, yeah, I'll take anything I can get. And I said, I think everybody should divorce, get at least one divorce. It's just like no one keeps their first car. It's a bit that I've been doing on the air for decades. It's kind of tongue in cheek. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's one of those cerebral, makes sense, but it's kind of offensive, but it's not. Like his partner, who's borderline gay, if not full, he's standing next to him and flips out on me in this meeting. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. First off, calm down before I punch a hole through your chest. I go, I don't know who you think you are. I'm not the guy. Yeah. Second, relax, you sensitive California putz. I was like, I've never seen a guy get so defensive over another guy of a joke that was an obvious joke at a radio station from a radio guy. Like, I could not believe what I was. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I'm going, it was a joke. And I remember I said that, and he goes, I don't care if it was a joke. I go, obviously. I go, you need to calm the fuck down and walk away. I go, I'm done playing games with you now, fake black guy. I want to be gangster. You and your little gay clothes in Sacramento thinking you're a celebrity when all you do is talk about a basketball team no one cares about. Move on. Move on.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was my neighbor. We were friends for a minute until that. Like, I went to his house, He came to my house and then he turned heel on me because of this. And I'm
That's
like,
what I'm saying. So the Mickey situation, we clubbed. I had a fake ID when I was 19. I was dating a 36-year-old female cop that she was living with. How wild is that, right? Let's just go there. And that was Mickey's roommate was Kim that I was banging. She was campus police. So hot.
can we not
And
use
we were
names?
friends.
Can you just call her Zika baby, please?
Zika. Okay, sorry. Zika baby and I were clubbing when I had a fake ID and she was fine and we were going out and clubbing and having a good time when I was a lesbian. And now that I'm strictly dickly, all of a sudden it's a problem. It's not okay that I like dudes, which is weird, right? I feel like so many people have gotten upset with me in the gay community. I've had a very strange experience because I've said I no longer want to date women. It's been about 5 years now, and I know what I like, right? And so many friends have dropped me in the gay community that I was tight with, or my burlesque troupe dropped me because of me wanting to date men purely. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. What I've learned is my time there is the lesbians and the liberals are the most judgmental people I've ever been around. Like if you don't see
100%.
it, they're like they'll go out there and they'll talk middle of the road, but they're all lies. I mean, like you don't even have to do anything. It just has to be out of sorts of their world, and they turn heel and flip out and do these things, and it's crazy. And they'll go to any extent, even to the point of embarrassing themselves in order to make it work. It's crazy. Anyway, look, you're awesome, and I want you to come on often. I want to come on your show. Oh, nice
Okay.
pussy. Who's that?
That's my pussy. This is my kitty, my new pussy. This is Angel.
Hi, Angel. Are you wearing a jacket? You wearing a jacket? Oh, that's your
He's
arm.
so
Oh, that's your
cute.
Oh, it's your sleeve. Yeah.
yeah, that's your it's your sleeve
No, it's
sleeve.
just
Yeah,
my
like your
arm.
sleeve. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm tatted like fully. Like
well,
yeah,
dude, you were
That's
great.
crazy.
awful.
Thank you for the compliments. By the way, tell your guy that loves the show that turned you on to my show that it's just the BS. There's no show, or it would be the Bailey Show. So it's just the BS,
From the Department of Redundancy
Okay.
Department.
right? And also tell
Just
him
the
and what,
BS.
yeah, make sure that he's a subscriber so he's getting all the episodes, and that there are 3 different shows 5 days a week. So you can listen to the show I do with my wife called Honey, I Raised the Kids, about us becoming empty nesters and starting the second phase of our lives. Then you've got the BS, and then you've got the Vinyl Road podcast with me and Brad Stewart of Saliva that we do on Fridays. I don't know. I know you haven't slept with Brad because he's a happily married man, but
That's the
I don't
only
know.
one. That's the only one I haven't got yet.
Yeah. So I know that. Oh, and you do cigars. That's cool. So I don't know
That's not a cigar.
how tight are you in that active rock world with those bands like the Shinedown and the Salivas and the Three Doors? And were you part of that?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of followers from 3 Days Grace and Puddle of Mud and Alien Ant Farm and CKY. I was a little skater 90s girl, that was my first. And then I got into Marilyn Manson and goth rock when I was later, but it's cool. I've just, you know what I always say? I've been a nice person. I really am. When you hear about a story that I mean, that person came for me because at the end of the day, I'm a really nice person that wants to have fun and bring the party and help people out to bring fun. So it's cool. Like over 20 years, Trapped, everybody, I've hung out with them, Drowning Pool, and they come by, their wives come by now. John Five, his wife Rita comes by. I love the music industry and supporting it and asking questions and being fascinated by how these talented people got as big as they are. So I just haven't been a dick. You know what I mean? When everyone's like, how are you getting people by your podcast for free? Because I fucking like people and I treated them with respect and I show up on time. It's really not that complicated.
And you've slept with a lot of them. That helps too.
Well, I joke. Okay, so I've slept with maybe 12 well-known musicians. I'll be honest, I've never had a one night stand ever. So when I sleep with them, I end up moving in a couple days. I get engaged in like a couple months. I'm a lover girl. As wild as I am, I'm a major lover girl, and I get obsessed. Kind of like right away.
That's cool. Who's the biggest name you slept with in the rock world?
That's what I said. I mean, I think Joey Jordison, before he died, we couldn't go anywhere. It was the biggest issue when we went to In-N-Out Burger getting mold as far as in LA. And the most well-known,
Ironic
kind of
for a
living
dude that
together
wears a
with
mask for a living.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean, this was 2009 to 2010, so you could Google him at that point. They weren't as
Right.
secretive. But then it depends, right? Are you in the pop world? I mean, obviously, NSYNC was a very big band, so a lot of people knew me with Joey Fatone. I'd say it depends. And then Joe Francis, the creator of Girls Gone Wild, that was my first well-known relationship, and he had dated Kourtney Kardashian right before me. So it was just like, and he was friends with Paris Hilton, and we all went clubbing. And this is in 2004, 2005. So we're talking, he'll come by all the time, and everybody hates him. I love Joe. I have nothing but incredible memories. He's treated me with respect, always helped me out. So I'm like a weird creator of Girls Gone Wild's a sweetheart to me, but I know other people have had alternate universe experience, so I'm not, deaf tone to that.
I was in LA. I guess it was around that time, maybe a little bit later. It was a couple years later. It was 2006 ish. And I don't remember where I was at, but I partied with him in this VIP area. He gives me his cell phone number, and
Nice.
I ended up having him on the show a couple times.
2006, you would have been at Hyde Cafe.
And then he disappeared. And then I just never talked to him again. But those, it was a different time. I mean, to us, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but what was trendy and, I don't know, exciting is the word, but entertaining to us was, the launch of TMZ. So we were just enthralled with the lives of Paris Hilton. And, even before the Kardashians existed, we were, wondering why Britney's shaving her head and these types of things. And it was kind of fun drama in a way. Now we later find out now that probably somebody should have stepped in and helped these people and said, like, hey, slow down a little bit. But, Joey, I go back with Joey and all the NSYNC guys, because I was at the station that launched all the boy bands here in Orlando back in the 90s. And I'm friends with his parents, and
wow.
And, his sister and all those things, so like, they used to intern for us. Justin would come in and screen calls. And so that was back in the 90s. I dated Howie D's niece for a while and would go over his grandmother's house where he would stay. And all the time. Awesome. I was on a cell phone plan, at the time. So it was like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So
Joey Fatone's on my private Instagram. So he'll like all the photos of my kids growing up, and it's cute. And I'll like him and his new wife, and they just got matching tattoos. And I love that. I'm still supportive of people I hooked up with. So as much as I say, like, I hooked up, I'm that weird, like, for 3 months, I'm addicted, and I'm like, I'm moving in. And then I go, oh, I'm off to something else. The 3-month newness wore off when I was young and hot. I used to be hot. I didn't know I was hot. It's crazy. I look at photos and I was like, holy fuck, I had no clue. I had a 6-pack, bleached blonde hair, giant tits. I'm running around the Playboy Mansion thinking I have low self-esteem. Super, like, because dad left me. So I'm perfect, right? A dream girl. I have no fucking clue that I'm kind of smart and hot. And I'm just trying to bang anything that comes my way. But no, I love everyone I've hooked up with hasn't been like, oh, I fucked you. I'm like, I love your energy. I love your brain. I want to pick it apart. I want to learn from you and talk to you. So I still dig everybody I banged, as crazy as I've been.
What years were you running around the Playboy Mansion?
It was 2008 to 2010. So it was pretty like Girls Next Door. He was with the twins at the time. I have a whole story on my podcast. I almost fucked Hugh Hefner. I went in to fuck him. I tell my girlfriend, you're going to have to get a cab, because they didn't have Ubers back then. They had cabs. So you're going to get a cab. I'm going in. I went in hard, sat down by him, was trying, because it was like Girls Next Door just broke up. And he was with these twins and he kind of wanted a third. That was like the story. And I couldn't do it. He was so deaf. He couldn't hear me. Then I wanted to bang his son, Cooper. He was really hot. But I just ended up going home. I can't believe I messed up. I joked my retirement plan and I didn't bang Hugh Hefner, and I really should have. I dropped the ball on that one.
I want to bang you. Nothing. I'm out of here. Going home.
He couldn't hear for like 10 minutes. This is for 10 minutes, he couldn't hear me saying what every second, and it just turned me off. And then the light shined on him and he had indentations. He looked like Dark Crystal person. I had
to great reference, dude. Oh my God. Dark Crystal Gelflings, Taylor Swift's. Oh my God.
Yeah,
awesome.
He was going to suck the life out of me, and I had to go home. It was like, damn it. But I almost did it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to bullshit.
So those days in the house, like Durst was around all the time. Bill Maher, whatever, he was around all the time. there were certain like those guy celebrities that, from what I understand, were always in that. I had a friend that was a Playboy Playmate. I think she was 2006. She was Playmate of the Year, Cara Monica. She told me some cool stories, you know, of like who was always just there. Like they would just always be there, you know.
Flow Rider was always there. Like literally, if you popped over Flow Rider, he had that apple bottom jeans hit that year, and he was just living at the Playboy Mansion out at the pool all the time.
And just girls would bang, right? I mean, it was like kind of free love, right? It was like you had certain, not
An
everybody.
orgy. I had a coked out orgy in like the grotto area. That's the and that it was so fun. Like I'll never forget it. It's a highlight of my childhood.
How many people were in this orgy? I know
It was
childhood,
only
right?
3 girls besides me and 2 guys.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah.
I feel like you should
And
find
no
another
one
word.
famous.
Like,
Okay. A
like
group activity.
no, I remember, you know, one of my childhood memories is getting that mongoose for Christmas. What about you, Steph?
Orgy.
The Playboy
Orgy at the
Mansion.
Playboy Mansion, coked out, honey. I'm so proud. Like I can't wait to tell
What
my
a
kids one day. You
childhood.
know what your mother did growing
So
up? You know how
they
mommy
were,
became a woman?
they were all Playboy girls in this orgy, and then 2 dudes, just random dudes, or
It
what?
was one of my good girlfriends, Alara and I we both stripped, and we were both kind of well known for me and Alara. We hung with Lainey that married Manson's bass player Twiggy, that's now unfortunately, you know, rest in peace. But like the 3 of us were kind of just known for fun rocker girls that will show up and have a good time. And so we would a lot of time, all 3 of us, be like, who wants to, you know, join in? We did it with the director of The Hangover a lot, Todd Phillips. We'd go to the Standard, to the Suite, and we'd all have a group orgy, and he would write like The Hangover 1 and 2 right after we would hook up, and it was just such a fun time. And like we're still friends and like still talk a lot. It's crazy.
Well, I would, if I could make a suggestion, I would not say that out loud, that Todd Phillips was writing The Hangover 2 and 3 after having sex with you, because obviously those movies were nowhere near as good as the original Hangover. So
I love it. I love it. Well, he ended up settling down with the hot French girl. He was always poly and open with her. And then she was there with him for the original movie. So she's better and classier. And we're like the second class side chick that you fuck to write the sequel with. You know what I mean? We're the hard 6. Like I said, I'm going to show up on time, honey, ready to go, but I'm a hard 6.
that's funny. All right. Look, I like to keep these to about an hour, and we're at that. And I appreciate you coming on. Let's keep in touch. I'll shoot you my cell, and just be easier than Instagram and DMing and stuff like that.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun.
I want to make it very clear before we get out of here, for my audience, the best way that they can follow and support you, Steph, is to go where?
Stef's Rock Show, STEFSROCKSHOW. And Instagram's where I hang out. You know, I'm old. I'm on the gram, guys. That's where I'm at, you know. Send me your dick on the gram. That's what I'm saying.
And
with googly eyes.
With googly eyes.
Yes.
And to get your show, you are on Spotify and you are on YouTube, and they would search for
completely free, only free, 24/7, tits out. If you want to hear about me banging and rock stars banging and rock stars being uncomfortable with the wild sexual questions, that's my show.
Okay. Yeah, we do. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely do. I'm a new fan, and I will, even if it was
I'm a new fan of yours. I'm glad I banged a guy that liked your show. Look at this. My vagina's bringing us together.
In more ways than one. It's great.
That's beautiful.
I know what Ben's going to do when we're done recording today. I can tell you that right now.
Put a Santa hat on it. Okay. Be creative.
All right. Look, thank you to those that listen. We appreciate you. Again, remember jasonbailey.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Go to the merch store. Nothing says Merry Christmas. What up, Kwanzaa? Happy Hanukkah. Then go into the merch store and getting merch from any of the shows. All kinds of cool designs the Ball Badger does. And if you want to be a sponsor, there's a place to do that. Questions for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora. All the good stuff. 3 different shows, 5 days a week on the BPX, jasonbailey.com for all of your information. We end each show with a quick little out. So, Steph, do you have anything before we go?
Look at my pussy. If it's visual and you can see, look at my pussy.
Ben, you got to top that. Go ahead.
Parsley farmer was sued recently and they garnished his wages.
You should have just, that's actually
My
pretty
pussy
good.
wins.
Not bad.
My pussy wins.
Pussy
and I
wins.
know.
Every damn time, Steph. Every time.
That was pretty good. Look, for those that are listening, thank you. Please subscribe. If you don't, this is a Free Bay episode. As always, look, thank you. If you're going to be doing some drinking, I understand. I get it. If you've had too much, please don't get behind the wheel of a car. I've lost way too many friends like that. Ensure the shit don't be posting stuff on social media or you will lose friends like that. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey, good looking. It's the Bailey Show podcast. JasonBailey.com. It's a website.
Okay, this episode's over. Goodbye. 3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, JasonBailey.com.